So for this session, we're going to have to make some gray watercolor paint. We obviously don't have gray, but we want to make some gray for the clouds and for the mountains in the back, and then we're going to use some silhouette for the black of the windmill. Okay, so starting out, if you don't already have a blue watercolor wash from your last session, make one. And then if you do have one, let's take a little bit of orange. Here's my orange. Okay, I'm getting orange onto my brush. I want to get a nice solid amount of orange on my brush, and I want to put that into my blue. And if you put it into your blue, you're going to get a brownish, grayish color. Now, if you put enough in, you'll get gray. If you put too much in, you'll get brown. That's kind of a little too much brown. Okay, I don't want mine that much brown, so I'm going to get some more blue. Number one, I'm going to put some water in because I want it to be a really light, airy gray. And now I'm going to get some more blue here and put that in, and that'll turn it a little bit more gray. There's my grayish color. Okay, so I want my gray to be gray so that I can make the mountains nice and gray, and then we want the clouds a little bit gray too. So a couple things about this is, with your brush you can use it normally like you would, or if you tilt it back like that, you can use it, and if you just get the little tip wet, you can use the tip then to paint in some pretty detailed strokes. And there you go, you can kind of see I put a little gray right underneath my cloud. Okay, what you do is you use your paper towel, you just kind of squish it down and tilt your handle and push it towards you so you get a rounded tip in the back. Get just a little bit of water on there, and then you can use your brush, use the tip of it to paint the gray into your clouds. And usually the sun is coming from above, and so clouds are darker or shadowed underneath. Okay, just like this. It's going to make your clouds look a little bit more realistic and a little more interesting. Especially for these ones that are far, far away, you're going to need to use that little tip and get those ones grayed down right underneath them. Now for the mountains, you can get your brush a little more full because you won't need to be so detailed, and you can lay some pretty thick watercolor right on top there of your mountains. Now, as far as getting the mountains to have a little bit of line, you can take your brush, kind of squish it into your blue. If you do the same trick with your blue and you kind of get it onto your palette paper and you use just the back tip, you can use that tip to kind of outline your mountains a little bit, kind of redefine some of the lines if you need to. Okay. And that'll make it look a little more interesting. Now we're going to do a little bit of watercolor wash, and we're going to save that blue. Okay, and we're going to put the water in for our river. Good. And now what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to take the last bit here. We're going to use some black. You're going to take some black, and normally I would say never ever ever use black, but for this we're kind of looking almost like we want these windmills to be black in the background. So take a little bit of black, okay, and paint in the windmill, but when you do it, paint in one big stroke along the edge of the windmill like that, and then have your brush so that it's tipped flat, and use the tip of it to make the little strokes for the windmill. Okay, make sure they're all going the right way. And then paint in the windmill so it kind of looks like a silhouette. Nice thick rich black color. Okay, so we've got our silhouette in the background. My water is running just a bit here, so I'm gonna blot it up and redo that part of my windmill back here. Okay, there we go. And do the same thing for the boats here. A little black for the boat. Black for the boat. And what we're going to do for the sails is, usually sails are white, so we're going to leave those sails white. If you really wanted to, you could take maybe a color and do a thin wash in to make like a little color, but I would leave them probably white. Now the next part we're going to do, the last part here, is the tulips, and I'm going to do that in a separate session. Okay, so that's how you finish off the last parts of the gray for your cloud, gray for your mountains in the background, and doing the silhouette for the black windmills and the boats on the water.